Welcome to the 33rd General Synod and to the Pension Board's Virtual Theater. Hi, I'm Art Cribbs from Annandale, Virginia. I'm a UCC pastor and former trustee of the Pension Boards. As Synod is about to get underway, we're gathered in this virtual auditorium to introduce you to an initiative which is already changing the lives of many of our authorized clergy, and to a unique campaign to support it shared by the national setting of the United Church of Christ in Cleveland and the Pension Boards in New York City. This afternoon, you'll hear from folks from across our church, all speaking to an urgent challenge facing authorized ministers and to an innovative program that is already making a difference. We all know that ministry is a demanding calling, both professionally and personally. We want our ministers to be whole and healthy, so they can serve with all their skills and faithfulness at full strength. But one of the most distracting and disheartening circumstances facing any minister is when financial security isn't there, because money is tight, or seminary debt is deeper than a budget can keep pace with, or personal money management just feels overwhelming. Or all of these. No one goes into ministry for a paycheck, but everyone who serves deserves enough to be on solid financial ground and to know that there is a plan in place for future security. This is a justice issue, and there are many factors that contribute to it. As a church that so values strong leaders, we need to understand the problem and work together to tackle it. The 2013 General Synod identified these as critical issues facing the church, and we've continued to search for ways to make a difference. I'd like to introduce you to Brian Boettiger, Chief Executive Officer and President of the Pension Boards, to tell you more about what our authorized ministers are up against and what we've begun to do to help.
In 2013, General Synod called the church to address the growing problem of educational debt faced by ministers in discernment and authorized ministers. The effectiveness of pastoral leaders depends on many factors, but worry about personal finances can be debilitating. Seminary and consumer debt, often limited income, especially for those serving small congregations, and lack of resources to plan a secure financial future are deepening a crisis for those called to serve. And the crisis is affecting our servant leaders of all ages. In 2017, the Pension Boards responded by creating the Ministers' Financial Vitality Initiative, a program of debt reduction, financial education, and personal empowerment around short and long-term issues of financial management. Since inception, 3 years ago, approximately $1.25 million has been provided to more than 120 UCC ministers participating in the program. Participants have received financial counseling, $10,000 to pay down debt, including $1,000 to seed a retirement account, and the support of both financial experts and a cohort of peers addressing similar circumstances. The Ministers' Financial Vitality Initiative is just the beginning of the effort to address this complex set of issues and causes of this debt crisis. The initiative is making a noticeable difference.
Thanks, Brian. This innovative learning and assistance program was initially supported by the Lilly Endowment, which identified personal indebtedness as a primary stressor among clergy across denominations. Lilly saw the Ministers' Financial Vitality Initiative as a model program for meaningful change. Joaquin Labor Acosta is the program director, and I'll ask him to tell you more about how the program works and what its participants experience. Joaquin?
Thanks, Art. The Ministers' Financial Vitality Initiative is a dynamic 3-year program that is now in its 5th cohort. With each cohort, we better understand the financial needs of our clergy, allowing us to constantly improve the program. The mission of MFBI is to empower those ministers who want to build their personal plan for healthy finances. The program provides a series of resources and comprehensive support. For example, during the first year, we share information on building your financial foundation, how to create an emergency fund, tools for developing a financial wellness action plan, investing for retirement, and investment mistakes that you want to avoid. All this while we develop a safe environment to learn and share the experiences of our own journey. It is the grant, the specialized service of Ernst & Young, combined with reading, tools, and support of the network that we create that activates the financial healing process. If we use these resources intentionally enough, the results of this program are amazing. Art?
Thank you, Joaquin. What better way to understand the benefits and relief this program provides than to hear from some of the participants themselves? I first want to introduce you to the Reverend Chad Abbott, Conference Minister of the Indiana-Kentucky Conference. Chad?
Thanks, Art. And greetings to each and every one of you. I'm someone who's new to the Financial Vitality Initiative of the pension boards, and you might be asking yourself, what is a conference minister doing in one of these initiatives? My story goes back to 2008 when I was a community organizer on the Near East Side of Indianapolis, and a mayoral change in the city cut the funding out from underneath my position, and I lost my job and my benefits. It put us in a 2-year spiral of having to work multiple jobs just to pay the bills, let alone the debt from our undergraduate and our seminary degrees. We went through a really difficult time of trying to recover from that loss of a job, and in fact, it took us almost 10 years to get to any kind of sustainable place. And so I began looking, once we got on the other side of that, for a way to pay off my student debt, as well as to look towards the future. We'd never been in this position before where we could actually plan for the future. And the Minister's Financial Vitality Initiative allowed me to pay down some of my student debt with the gift of the program, but also to receive all of this kind of knowledge about planning for the future, budgeting, and being able to think about retirement. So I am deeply grateful for the Pension Board's Minister's Financial Vitality Initiative because it has taught me so much and is allowing me the freedom to pay off some of my debt. But it's also impacting many of my clergy in the Indiana-Kentucky Conference and across the denomination, as I know many of us who are clergy have struggled to pay down either our student debt or wider debt. I thank God for the opportunity to be in this initiative. And Art, I turn it back to you.
Thanks, Chad. The Reverend Dr. Chris Davies serves at the national offices of the United Church of Christ in Cleveland, where she is the team leader for Faith Info. Chris?
Thanks so much, Art. Look, I gotta tell you, I have more years in school in my life than I have out, and have been one who leaned heavily on federal support and loans throughout my education and private through my undergrad, Master's of Divinity, and Doctor of Ministry. I have a small mortgage on my brain, and until recently, the thought of paying it off and being debt-free felt completely unobtainable. I also know I'm not alone in this, as I witness it all over the country and in most of the conversations I have with my age cohort peers. The gap between the cost of seminary education and the mean salary for a pastor in the United Church of Christ is ever growing. And as we imagine a future for our Christian work and word in the world, it is necessary to support and equip our pastors appropriately. The Minister's Financial Vitality Initiative has completely changed how I think about money and ministry in my own life. I have been supported extensively and paid off some of my student loans. I have a plan. I have the confidence to do it with integrity, equity, and alignment with my values, balancing my other commitments to redistributing wealth. This has been a transformative program and opportunity. I wish for any pastor the access to information, community, and financial resource that I've had through this program, and encourage you to apply as you're able.
Thank you, Chris. The Reverend Lewis Mitchell is from Seattle, where he serves the Alki United Church of Christ. Lewis, tell us about your MFVI experience.
Thank you, Art, for the introduction. You know, when I first got involved with this initiative, it was a part of my ordination process. I was ordained by the marks of ministry rather than the traditional route, and I had some misgivings about my relationship with money and my relationship with debt and my fear of it, honestly, and the shame and the secrecy I felt around it. The experience of being a part of this first cohort was amazing. I didn't feel alone. I felt so much less shame. I felt comfortable asking questions and receiving information on how to get myself together and get my financial life in order in a way that stopped it from taking away energy from my ministry. One of the benefits that I want to focus on is really increasing my credit scores. I went from very low credit scores, to now topping 600, and I'm on the move. I paid down some things. I was able to get some new credit to build credit and a new level of awareness and responsibility and conversation with money and my use of money. And I feel free. And the absence of the shame just really meant a lot to me. I cannot recommend it highly enough, and I want to encourage you to support it because it's important. So many of us are in shame and secrecy and fear about money. It takes away from our energy. It takes away from our presence. It took away from mine. I'm so grateful to be free and to have this bondage lifted from my life. So thank you. Thank you to the pension boards, and thank you all. Back to you, Art.
Thanks for that testimony, Louis. I hope you can see how the Minister's Financial Vitality Initiative is a game-changing step in securing the financial future of our pastors. The work now, which is why we're here in this virtual gathering, is to bring more of our pastors into the program. In June of 2019, the General Minister and President, John Dorhauer, and the Pension Board CEO and President, Brian Boettiger, formally entered into a partnership in which the national setting and the pension boards agreed to pool their fundraising talent to raise $3 million for MFVI, which would help make this essential program sustainable for as long as needed until issues like educational debt and clergy compensation are no longer contributing to the problem, and we reach that happy day when MFVI is no longer needed. I'm happy to invite John to tell you more.
The needs are real. The impact of MFVI is encouraging, but we've got a long way to go together. Financial security for our leaders is a justice issue and a complex one that will have to be a whole church-wide effort. The pension boards and the national setting of the United Church of Christ are partnering and proud to partner to raise $3 million before the next General Synod in 2023. We want to expand participation in the program at levels that can be maintained until that fine day when all our authorized ministers are free from financial worry. Today, we launched the Securing the Future Financial Justice for Authorized Ministers campaign. Leadership gifts have been committed, and over the coming months, we'll be inviting you to join those donors to make an immediate, concrete, and loving difference in the lives of authorized ministers. We are eager to tell you how MFVI changes lives and moves the church towards the financial justice we seek. I encourage you to take time to understand the scope of the challenge, and through your generous gifts, to become a partner with us in meeting this crisis, one faithful servant at a time.
Wow. A first-time partnership for a challenge we all recognize is the way to success in meeting it. Thank you, John. So here we are, gathered from across the country, on the verge of another General Synod, when we will celebrate the strength of the faith we share and address the issues of greatest concern to us. And so, it is fitting that here, in the midst of our UCC family gathering, that the Securing the Future Financial Justice for Ministers capital campaign begins. Jessica Shine, a major gifts officer, on the Optic team in Cleveland, will tell us more.
Thanks, Art. For the past 6 months, our combined team from the pension boards and the national setting have been getting ready for the formal launch of Securing the Future campaign right here at General Synod. Working together, we've articulated why your partnership is crucial. We've developed promotional materials to tell the story, and we can't wait for you to see the official launch video during one of the plenary sessions. As John said earlier, we've been anticipating our time together throughout General Synod because our team wants you to know that initial gifts have already been received. We're so very grateful and excited about this. And over the next 2 years, our team will be reaching out to you in a variety of ways to share the story of MFVI, to invite your financial support, and to ask you to connect us with others you know who share our desire to end clergy debt. Our goal is a life of financial security and wholeness for the pastors who serve us so faithfully. During Synod, please visit the virtual display booths of the Pension Board and Optic. We look forward to conversation with you. Art?
Thank you, Jessica. Together, as the United Church of Christ, we're navigating a season like no other we've known. We've supported each other in sickness and loss. We continue to stand for justice in our country and in our communities. We've adapted to social distancing and virtual togetherness, even for this first of its kind General Synod. So now, we can make right a foundational injustice and help those we ask to lead us be released from debt and anxiety over money. The Securing the Future campaign will make us more respectful and inclusive of our pastors and their families, more whole as a fully equipped church, and more faithful in our witness that love for each other can overcome every obstacle, even debt and worry over money. Thank you for your time with us this afternoon. On behalf of the participants in the Ministers' Financial Vitality Initiative and my colleagues at the pension boards and the national setting, we wish you God's blessing and hope for a secure financial future for all who serve.